Okay, so today we're going to go over the dyno. We're going to test the car in here. And it'll be another one of my other personal vehicles. I'm going to use my Spectra for this. Now, this is going to be a stock motor. That's what's in here. Nothing has been hopped up or set up in here. I just got the slicks on it because it's tricky trying to keep it on the road like this. Oops, better shut this in here. Yep, we're good to go. I got my plate on the back of it, of course. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this into the dyno so I can explain this, because I see some people kind of get lost with it. The purpose of the Dyno Room is to try to get the most performance you can get out of your car, whether you're drag racing it or not drag racing it. That's what it's for. Now, in the 2014 and 2015 game, you got to play with color bars. They're supposed to be like playing around with the chip or tuning the carburetor. That is not the way this one works. And we're going to go over how this works. So, we're going to go over here and test our stock motor real quick. This is going to be your factory output. So what we're going to do is we're going to see what our gain here is. So as you see, everything here is the same here. So there is no gain or loss. So if you want to increase the gain, that's where we go here for. Because when you install one of these things, this will increase your power somewhere, whether it's your air filter, carburetor, cam, heads, exhaust manifold if it helps, whatever that can be done. So when we put one of these or a whole bunch of these on the car, we'll increase the kind of output that's going to happen. So what we're going to do here is swap out this engine, because I have a second motor for this car. I got a second motor for this car? You're probably wondering. Yeah, I do. Second motor? How in the world did you do that? I'll show you later when I do the restore video, because there's a cool trick that can be done, and you'll understand how I did the restore. It goes up, goes down. So before you pull the motor, you're going to have to drain the oil. Now let's get up here. How did that seat get there? You're going to need, of course, to drop your starter. And of course, you're going to have to pull your trans. I know you can pull the engine out, the trans and out, but it doesn't work that way because you have to put it on the engine stand. That's why. So before anybody starts screaming how it ruins your game, that's the way it is. Those pipes have to come off. Okey-doke. when I go to roll-plated thing, yeah, I do remove the hood, but this is going to be for the dyno test. We're not getting into all that. So now we pull the engine out completely as a whole. Now you remember this storage room that I was telling about before in one of the other tutorials? People find this redundant. This is where I store my stuff. We will get into this stuff here later and some of this other stuff later, but right now what's important is that I'm swapping this. So we'll go ahead and put that there and take this one instead. Got all the cool stuff in here. Mostly the bottom end and whatnot is pretty much done. If you could see the, see what I mean? Even got the high performance clutching and flywheel and whatnot in there. So this baby's loaded up engine wise, because when I was doing it, I didn't want to have to open the motor up for nothing. So this motor is strictly as is, how you see it. That's why I did two of them. One of them stock, one of them set up. I didn't do nothing with the exhaust. The manifold, those hopped up because you can see it's this chrome here. So if you're wondering how this thing goes, I will have it in the restore video what's going on. Because in the restore video, we'll explain the famous question, can you get a block all by itself on the stand? Because you can't. But I will show you how that all works. Okay. Our oil in the little Beastmaster here. Now pretty much this thing's got, I think even did the coils in here. No. No, see how that's all stock? But the pistons that are in here are performance pistons. This uses an overhead quad cam system on it, which is not named that, but that's what it is. It's quad cam, overhead quad cam V8, and so therefore it uses two to each side, and I got the performance in there, and I got performance pistons, whatever is inside that engine that could be turned high performance is what's in there. Okay, now let's take this puppy back in. See, that's why I like them black rims that were available, because that's what I used on the my own personal car out of the 2015 game. So let's say you're trying to look for a particular power gain. So we want a much more higher output than what the stock has. So we put those high performance parts in there, and then we see how it performs. As you can see, we have ourselves 36, 35, a complete gain that had ran in there. So that's what this is showing here, that we have a lot more. This car is kind of hard to control on the racetrack as is with the stock engine. Even more so with what I did with the motor. But that's not what this is about. So as you can see, that's how to use the thing. So if you feel that you want a little more kick by changing out the spark plugs to the performance stuff here, then you change that out, put it on that dyno test, see if that's meeting what you want. If it's not getting what you want, then you can probably change something simple as exhaust pipe. Or maybe put all these inside the engine and then go from there and see what it does. So for like that straight 6, the whole thing is whatever I could find in here to put in that straight 6 I did. And it's a pretty kicking straight 6. It doesn't lose control like this thing will, but it's kicking straight 6. And that's pretty much how you deal with the dyno, and that's how it is used. Okay, time to move on to something else. I gotta swap this motor back.